A lot of iron this time, not a lot of carbon going on. So there could be some advantages to playing scavenger this game. Let's see, plenty of places to found scientific if I wanted to. Let's see if we can find a good one though. Down here is maybe an option. Let's see. I guess we could try playing expansive. I just generally don't like to if I can play scientific these days. But a couple of extra tiles would have been really useful that game. Well, let's see what we can do. I still kind of want to go scavenger down in this crater here. I'm not completely attached to it. Like I could not, and that would be okay. But I think it would be some nice tiles to have. Being able to use that triangle of carbon, erase some carbon from the map by founding like right here. I could make it work. I could also just found out here. Oh well, somebody else is going to do it already, so I won't worry about it. Alright then, let's just go with our planned kind of scientific play right here. Make that work.
Now then, the day is ticking, and there is much research to be done.
Get all that aluminum bought up, sell down the carbon and the silicon.
Baltic colony founded.
Let's see, this guy's gone immediately into aluminum, interestingly enough, so he's going to need to buy steel in order to make that work. We should be able to get to this water and maybe take a high silicon tile. We don't really want to go into glass production positioned away from us this game, but that doesn't mean silicon isn't worthwhile to take. It's kind of just, it's awkward, and I'll have to see what I can actually make work. Shouldn't have gone into so much water last game. That was another big mistake. I should not have taken the 2 water tiles. I wanted to try it. I wanted to see if I could make it work. It doesn't work. I don't know why I keep thinking it might. But it's a big mistake that I always make, is just getting too much water when I go for water like that. It might have worked in an 8-man game, but it's never going to work in a smaller game. In a game with just 3 or 4 players, it should never work because people aren't going to be consuming that much water. Like, water's not going to have a whole lot of pressure on it. People are going to grab up those best water tiles very easily. So it's a terrible mistake to make, and I really got to stop making mistakes like that.
3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000.
But yes, to answer chat questions, I am in Beta 3. People can feel free to join whenever. Beta 3 is available to everybody, so hop on in here, because it's what the game's going to be like. So if you're playing consistently, you may as well play in the next version. And yeah, I don't play in tournaments because I get too frustrated when I lose. And it's just bad for me. We'll probably let that go for 32,000. It's doable, but it's not, we don't need it, so maybe we just let it go for now, and that's okay. Is Clark actually still not in steel production at all? Are you making steel, Bradbury? Tell me you're going to make steel. You are making steel. Okay. We're not going to have an exact repeat of last game. Granted, I might have an easier time making additional steel this game, so that could be alright. Let's go ahead and take an extra claim just to get that full water or food triangle going. Might be a bit early for the food triangle, but once again, it's twice as good as just 2 food tiles, so still more or less alright going it. We need to buy into a little bit more glass because of that. There we are. And now we wait. Now we wait, and we eventually push up to HQ level 3. No aluminum production again. I'm trying it out, seeing how it goes. Everybody else has aluminum coming in. Not too much aluminum, but some, right? And so I'm thinking maybe we can make it work. I'll go ahead and buy like 100 right now while it was $12, just to be a little bit safe. Now I'm just waiting for that steel to come in, and we'll hit HQ level 3. What are we going to do at HQ level 3? We need power. There are geotherms available that we can go ahead and use. There is more and more steel production coming down, so that should fall off fairly quickly, one would think. And we might be able to just, well, let's go ahead and grab a new claim, because it's still 3,000 for some reason. Now let's upgrade. Grab 2 geotherms. Stay in steel production for the moment. That leaves us with 2 claims remaining, which we could just go ahead and throw down glass. We just throw down glass. Silicon's not excessive yet. The other option is to just go into some silicon, or go into a lot of silicon. And then I've got one tile left. If I go into one silicon, I've got one tile left. Maybe I can even try doing something really crazy and going into an engineering lab on this one tile. See if I can make that work. Steel's still coming in. Food still coming in, which is exactly what we need to see. We need to get a geotherm started because power's going a little nuts, and we'd like to not get burned by that, if at all possible. This one silicon tile hopefully will allow us to make a glass transition before too long, I think is going to be the goal. This guy's going into reactors, that's just fine. Pirates suck. Need some pirate defense. Let's go ahead and grab a goon squad for that. Let's see. We could also move into a little extra food instead of this water. Water has died. It is now $2. This guy actually flooded the water market in particular. He has a lot of water coming in. It's expensive to make that move, but it probably is worthwhile. You could also just turn the water pump off for the time being. I have to keep bidding on pirates because I need my food. I almost have to pay pretty much any price for these. Are they going to let it go for 14? That's good. Let's keep an eye out this game. That was another big mistake we made last game, was not using our pirates as effectively as we could have. Or I guess a big mistake I made this game, if I don't want to put that on you guys. Still, you get the basic idea. Pirates could have been used more effectively. So we should try and make that happen, if we can, this game. Let's go ahead and get that glass bought we need. I think we need 60 for this upgrade, correct? Yes, 60 glass. And now we're planning on a glass transition. We're going to try and make that work. This guy is moving into extra power instead of carbon, so he'll be kind of stuck where he is for the time being. He's on 71,000 debt, so that shouldn't make him a lot of money, and maybe I don't need to really worry about it. It's just something to be aware of. Food production still going just fine. More geotherms coming online is good. We'll probably defend this as well. And then we'll just be looking at getting our upgrade done before too terribly long. Could steal some aluminum. Probably not worthwhile, which is why I haven't bothered. Alright, food production's online. Power production is coming up. What else can I do? What else can I do right now besides sit and wait? I can try and make sure I've got my glass production continuing to improve, so when I actually put it down, it'll be okay. I don't really want to buy up silicon, because this guy's got silicon coming in. This guy's got silicon coming in, so I don't want to buy up silicon. If they didn't have a lot of silicon coming in, what I would do is I would buy it and leave the price high to kind of encourage other people away from glass. Clark's actually made it to HQ level 4 already. Not too surprising. He's an expansive player. He has a lot of claims, and on top of that, he hasn't been making the detours we have in terms of things like the engineering lab. And what else? Sorry, the engineering lab and the extra claims and the black market and the goon squads. We're sitting on 2 extra claims and 2 goon squads right now, so realistically, I mean, that's a lot. What is this? These are glass furnaces as well. Okay, well, gonna have to do something about that. Unfortunately, our own glass might also get hit, but once again, we're scientific, so maybe it's okay to let our glass get hit. Maybe it's not the end of the world. Boop-a-doop. Get frozen. It's my glass production. Thank you very much. Let's see, we've upgraded glass twice. Let's go ahead and do some chemical upgrading, and I'm thinking patent lab. It's a little risky going patent lab. Not necessarily a good idea. The other option is to just drop another glass furnace, though. So, which do I go with? Patent lab or glass furnace? If I'm doing patent lab, one of the reasons to do it, maybe, this game is carbon scrubbing. I haven't really checked out... Okay, Offworld prices are good, so getting to an Offworld would be nice. Where is this thing? I mean, I'll bid up to like 20,000 on it, potentially. Alright, I'll probably let it go now. That's fine. We could also upgrade power production for a more immediate boost, and then upgrade chem production later. So if I go patent lab, what am I wanting from patent lab? I could get slant drilling, I could get carbon scrubbing. Either of those would be alright. Carbon scrubbing maybe a little better. I'm thinking both of them would be actually really, really good, but I'm leaning more toward carbon scrubbing, and then if I can pick up slant drilling as well, I can really make good use of this silicon area. So I think we will go for the patent lab. There are plenty of good patents to acquire this game. We can try and make it work. We have our glass production going. Nobody else is in glass because we've shut down the one guy who tried.
The black market is online.
So that's very nice for us. We can hopefully use that to push to an upgrade fairly effectively. We're going to go ahead and grab a goon squad for the patent lab, which is far more likely to be attacked. And see if we can make all of this work. I don't really want to buy into iron. I was tempted to for a moment, and then I was just like, nah, let's not do that. Could upgrade. Don't know if upgrading is actually the right decision, though. I'm just kind of sitting here on a bunch of money. Need to decide what to do before too long. The reason I don't want to upgrade, well, there are a bunch of reasons. But I'm not really sure about exactly what I'm going to pull off out of this patent lab immediately. Nobody else has a patent lab down. If I can get to both carbon scrubbing and slant drilling out of this thing, is iron really that expensive? Fine. Should have bought into the iron. If I can get into both of them,
I've never seen such elegant
then I can put electronics down out here. And I think I'm going to pull that off. And I would like to get some electronics production down. Clark buying into himself, that's just fine. We have good things to do on our own out in this corner, so I'm not going to worry about it. Let's go ahead and upgrade chem production. That's what I talked about a little bit, was getting chem production online. That will take over for our glass before too long. Now I have 2 claims left. I would like to spend them on Offworlds, primarily. And I'd like to keep everything I already have online. So I'm going to try and make that happen. We have paid off our debt at this point with our power production. So that's very nice. The 2 geotherms doing good work there. The electronics factory is not really making much money yet. I should maybe even have turned them off before all these resources got shipped out to them, because they didn't have carbon scrubbing yet. They will in a moment. They didn't have slant drilling yet. They will before long. All that stuff. Let's go ahead and make the claim here. Oh, new claim. That would be nice. I'm really wanting to push to this Offworld, actually, at this point. That's what I would really like to do, is push to this Offworld. We could think about getting out of glass furnaces and into chem labs at this point. I think it's the right call. Let's go ahead and make that move. We're on HQ level 5. Only other guy HQ level 5 is Bradbury. He's not as much of a threat. He's making electronics not particularly effectively. He's making some steel, also not particularly effectively, and he's got decent power online. So he's got the right ideas, it looks like, but not quite getting all the way done. I think he wanted carbon scrubbing. Didn't realize we were absolutely going to thrash him to it. And we'll blow up his patent lab for good measure to make absolutely certain. Aluminum is a little high. We need to watch out for that since we're trying to make electronics right now. But I think it's alright. I think it's alright. We obviously chose not to collect any aluminum at all this game. That's just where we put ourselves, and hopefully we can make it work. Let's drop the goon squad, grab another goon squad, thank you. Sell down all this nonsense that I purchased up earlier. And really would like to get this Offworld online. There we go. The Offworld is started. 2 claims left. Let's go ahead and add to our chem production, I think. Actually going to put it right here for Thinking Machine's benefit.
Expansive colony expanded.
There we go. And let's, now that we've been doing all of that, let's go ahead and move out of iron and back into steel. I was also considering earlier upgrading steel production. It might have been a decent idea, but as we can see, chems and steel are coming online completely at about the same time, so maybe it didn't really make that much of a difference. I think I'm also going to just, let's see. I could, at this point, scrap out of this guy and just go electronics. Steel's too expensive. I shouldn't have done that. Let's go for nanotech so we can ignore steel. That's another thing I should have done last game with the patent lab. I could have potentially gone into nanotech, and I almost certainly should have. Alright. Not in a bad spot here. Not in a bad spot at all. Nanotech's on the way. The Offworld is online. Let's go ahead and start sending oxygen. Every single time, without question, because oxygen is just that good this game. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but I'm trying to get better at using this auto-send feature, so that I don't get too distracted and forget to send and things like that. The risk is I might not always be sending optimally, but at least I will be sending continually. Man, aluminum's expensive. We're going to grab a mutiny. Okay? I'm going to grab a mutiny right now. Pirates are actually available. I don't know why I'm bothering with a mutiny when I can just do this. Unfortunately, he could just link this up if he has an extra claim sitting around, but he's been on HQ5 for some time, it's possible he won't have an extra claim just sitting around, and we'll still be okay. I will get down another Offworld eventually. I think I'm going to want to scrap the patent lab to do it, though. Because otherwise I'd be putting it, like, right here instead of this Chem lab, and that's just a little awkward. Electronics is going strong. Claim auction. Claim auction would actually be wonderful. Because I could just put down the Offworld immediately if I get the claim auction. And that would be just fine. Alright. Steel's still holding strong. Chem's not so much. EMP on our chems, though, so whatever, I guess. Not a big deal. You guys can do that all you want. Gotta keep using this engineering lab. We'll go ahead and get into some electronics production, I suppose. We could even send that as high as we possibly can and just try and steal this guy's electronics. Not entirely sure. Could work out. Alright, we did get that claim auction. Let's go ahead and get this Offworld I was talking about established. We'll put it here, I suppose. We could also put it here. This is okay. We're not going to goon squad it, so it doesn't really matter that it can get hit by an underground nuke. Because we're going to go into thinking machines right now, and hopefully get that before it actually gets hit by any black market. Let's get out of this glass, or sorry, out of this food, and into some reactors. We know that oxygen's probably going to be expensive. We're going to be trying to send oxygen the whole time if we can. So we'll upgrade that after electronics. We'll probably just upgrade it all the way to be safe. Let's go ahead and mutiny. Mutiny. Ah, those were down to 20. I wasn't paying attention. I thought there were still 100. I should have looked before I left. There was no reason for that. Just a waste of resources at this point. Alright, got a goon squad ready. I guess I can goon squad this tile. I can also just goon squad this tile, though. Or just re-goon squad this one. There we go. That'll work. Alright. What do we want to do? Besides not having stole aluminum like an idiot. Whatever. Do these things really only hold 10? Because it's just sending in 10s. Instead of sending in 20s. It holds way more than 10. I don't know, guys. The trucks in this game seem awful still to me. I think they need a lot of work, personally. Carbon shortage, we're going to completely ignore. We should go for teleportation after thinking machines. That could be just fine. Oxygen still upgrading quite nicely. We almost had it in time. It was like 15 seconds off, maybe. That sucks. At least we're scientific. It's not the end of the world. Blow that guy up. Let's see. Clark also has an Offworld. Attack that. Gonna make them buy these goon squads. If we can at all. No, we can just buy Clark. Thanks, Clark. Alright. Let's send more... fine, we'll just send more oxygen. I don't even care. We'll just send more oxygen. It's fine. Where's my other oxygen send? Do I really just not have the money? There. Send the oxygen. Thank you. Alright. Well, we're making plenty of oxygen at least, right? We've been upgrading that. We'll keep upgrading it. Thinking machines doing work at this point. Look at that EMP. It just does nothing. It does nothing. We don't care. We have thinking machines. Love that research. Love that patent. I mean, the game is basically over at this point. Nobody was quite keeping up with our growth. I tried to type. Yeah, okay. There it went that time. A little more power, not a big deal. Let's go ahead and scrap out of all of these. I doubt we actually need them. And instead go into... I wish we could do carbon cores, but we can't do carbon cores. Let's just make more reactors. It's whatever. Not a big deal. This should also have been a reactor about, you know, an infinite amount of time ago. Really should have been a reactor. Let's go ahead and buy Asimov, because we can. Apparently. Let's see. That gives us a lot of carbon production, which is very nice, because, well, carbon's very good right now. Let's short what? We don't really want to short electronics. We could just short carbon still. Let's just short carbon some more. Sure, why not? Because look at this guy's electronics factories. They're awful. They're terrible. They're not the kind of electronics factories you want to be running in your place of business. What do we need to finish off Bradbury? About 100,000 more? Not a big deal. We've got it. GG. Alright, got it done. Sorry if I'm a little terrible at looking at chat today, guys, by the way. I'm still really out of it. Whenever I have a day like yesterday where I have to get up earlier than I really like to, It always kind of throws me off for the mornings. I do well once I'm in the afternoon, but in the mornings, I'm always just kind of out of it for the next couple of days. All right, well, if we want to take a look at that game, we made a lot of money, and we won. It was fairly simple and straightforward. We had a distinct plan we were able to execute. In particular, we ignored aluminum. That went just fine because everybody had plenty of aluminum, right? That was the first big decision we made that game, was no aluminum. Second big decision was moving into farms, which worked out just fine for us. We basically left them there almost the entire game, never had to transition. So I think we committed to those a reasonable amount. It may have been a better decision to commit only 2 tiles to farms and then move the water tile into food instead of turning it off, because we just had that sitting there off for a really long time, right? And that was bad. So that may have been a step where we could have improved. The silicon worked out just fine. We were able to use that late game, so that was okay. It also blocked other people off from silicon, and it also kind of guaranteed ease with that glass transition, which is really what came at HQ level 4, right? HQ level 3 is when we grabbed power and the silicon. So that was just kind of our power stage. There was plenty of geotherms available, plenty of steel being produced. We made that work for us just fine based on the map. And then HQ level 4 was the really interesting bit, where we had at HQ level 3 the engineering lab down, and that glass transition just worked beautifully. And that's really what propelled us through the rest of the game. We can see that we made quite a lot of money on glass for the fact that we were not in that resource very long at all. We made about 100,000 total, once you even include our purchasing of glass early in the game and for Offworlds and things like that. I think that went rather well. And I was fairly pleased with how all of it turned out. Also, transitioning into iron after the shortage worked very well. We made a lot of money on that. So it was just reasonable steps the whole way through. Nobody really got in our way too heavily. We were just kind of sitting in the corner as a scientific and doing our thing and winning some game. But sometimes that's just the way it works. All right, let's hop into the next one.